Open up the clip.
This is crazy.
It's a weekend. Happy Monday. Lucky Lefty podcast. I'm your guy, SD2 Mike Shaun Davis. Brought to you and featuring Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. Irish invasion took place yesterday. Have some intel to talk about. 2024 class is looking really, really good. A lot of great athletes on campus this week and yesterday in particular. We'll talk about Caleb Beasley a little bit. We'll talk about a trio that may be coming to South Bend and may lead the charge. And in the 24 class, if you think the 23 class is about relationships, wait till you see the 24 class and what might be happening early on, like before the season even starts. So we'll get into that a little bit. But I'm going to open the floor for Lucky, man, because, as many times as I've had to come on here and lay some things out and explain things, my brother feels like he needs the same opportunity. I open the floor for him.
So we gotta talk about a couple things. One of them is, listen, in the game of being a journalist and loving the school and following recruiting, we at IPC Nation, we believe in relationships because that's what really matters at the end of the day. We're big on NIL, the whole nine. So when it comes to information and being first, we don't really care for real. We would love for big things to happen on our platform, but it's not the number one driver. But the problem within the journalist community is that there's a need to be first to the
And let
point
me
where
just say this. Let me just say this. I'll say this. As someone that went to school and has operated in that space since 2012, I will say this. And it's not just it. My first cycle being in recruiting, it's the one thing for me that I hate the most about covering recruiting. Because I will much rather put out the best story than to be first. Like I could care less about reporting on a kid's visit first. I want the information. I want to spend an extra 2 to 3 days to get something that no one else got. I want to spend time hearing from his mama in the background.
that's right.
That's what I want. I don't care about being first. Now, other people might care about being first. That irks me. That irks me.
And it irks me too because when you want to be first and you willing to do anything to get it, even if that's without context. And when that also occurs is when you want to mess the natural order of how things supposed to come out and shake out. And so I do have a problem when not that you are trying to obtain the information. It's the back end. It's the discrediting of other people because you're just jealous. You're jealous because it's okay if a kid didn't tell you what they wanted to do and you heard it from somewhere else that also does a similar line of work. Maybe not the same thing, but it's okay if we got some information you may not have heard about. But that doesn't give you the excuse to try to backdoor the information and use a good Christian in Shaun to do it. The good Christian. He don't know what the tactics of a man that's thinking like that is in position of. And he used a good Christian because he knew that he had no idea. So I can't accuse my good man Shaun of being in cahoots to this false flag, this fake operation, this coup, this mistaken dry snitching thing.
Oh man.
So my whole thing is, listen, it's okay if people make a mistake, but it's another thing to use that and twist it and turn the narrative as a guy that we're putting out information that is false. Because the information isn't really false. It's just the fact that in the natural order of things, it would have been handled a lot better than your perspective or perceived perspective of what happened in the situation. So all I'm saying is we took it personally like Michael Jordan, and now we have to Michael Jordan you. And we're gonna come with something even bigger. Who knows? We might get a live commitment of somebody you really, really want to hear from on IPC now, since you feel that way. And you got to stop using the good Christian because he don't know. That's all I got.
Oh man, my name is Shaun Davis, aka the Good Christian. Lefty himself, Malik Zaire. This is the Lucky Lefty podcast, man.
It's crazy. I mean, just crazy, Alec. I gotta read this to you, man. It says, just it's a bad look and put ND in the how.
Now, what are you quoting? Because I still don't know.
I am quoting a private message. I'm not gonna show the name, even though I should. On a message board. It got some likes on it.
A message
This
board
is
from
false
where?
information.
On the message board from Irish Players Club?
It's on the message board of the message board where all the information goes down. But anyway, it accuses us of putting Indy in the bad spot. It accuses us of not having a relationship with the staff. It accuses us of embarrassing the kid and the university. See, this is slanderous. We didn't offer the kid, number one. We didn't tell the kid to commit, number one. We didn't do none of that. The kid brought his family up, came over and hugged everybody. We gave him gear. We was only doing what he wanted. But in the natural order of things, it would have figured itself out if you didn't backdoor the information. See, you going up there poking around, not knowing what you're talking about, getting them questioning things, right? And it's crazy because the kid still didn't even know. Everybody knew what was going to happen except the kid. The kid, we wasn't going to tell the kid. The kid didn't even know until after all of this swirling false flag narrative was put out there. So, it's just better when we all do this for the fun of the game and not
it's enough meat on the bone. No, real talk. That's another thing coming into this is that and I say this respectfully, because no one has done anything to me personally, right? But I've had people indirectly take shots at me, being the new kid on the block, covering Notre Dame from other platforms. I don't know why, because I've never done anything to anybody.
Never done nothing to nobody.
And it's more than enough meat on the bone when it comes to Notre Dame football.
Yeah, you talk about type of stuff.
The fan base, the alumni base is so massive that literally everybody can have a successful podcast platform because people want content and information. And they'll leave our podcast and go to the next podcast. And they'll leave that podcast and go to the next podcast. It's more than enough. The people that cover Notre Dame are the most territorial and petty people I've ever met in Germany. Ever. The culture is absolutely, it's ridiculous, man. For it to be that way, connected to the brand that it's connected to. Like everyone should literally be happy. Like, dude, I'm covering Notre Dame, bro. Are you kidding me? I don't have time. You can call me the good Christian. You can call whatever you want to call me. I don't have time for that energy. All that other energy trying to discredit what somebody else is doing to get you to come to my. I don't have time for that, man.
No.
I can tell you right now, everyone that's covering this is not. I'm glad you said good Christian. I'll use an example. No, I'll use an example just to make a point. And this is why everyone should be comfortable in their own skin, right? I don't think there's anybody else covering Notre Dame or covering Notre Dame recruiting that can sit on a phone on a Sunday night at about 9:45 p.m. talking church with the recruit and his mama. Like, how was Easter Sunday service?
Yeah.
What was the message? See, I'm comfortable having that conversation because it's natural. That's not forced to me. That's a natural conversation, especially when I know the recruit and his faith is like that. That's just a part of getting to know the kid. That's me. That's what I'm going to write about. That's how I get a kid to open up and say, oh, by the way, I'm making an announcement on this date. 2 weeks before anybody else got it. Because it came through natural conversation.
Naturally. It comes through naturally.
And he was comfortable enough to say, oh, by the way.
Yeah, it's like you don't even have to ask most of the time.
Yeah, and it's embarrassing, man. It really is embarrassing. It's embarrassing that we have a brand like Notre Dame that's so massive and has so many layers. You know how diverse the locker room is. You're a former player. You know the various backgrounds the kids come from, family structure, all of that. You have all of that to cover, all of that to talk about, whether it's current players, recruits, and you want to bash somebody else. And I'm not speaking to this situation specifically. I'm just talking about in general because it goes on and it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. And I'll stand here today and say it. The culture needs to change, man, because there's nothing to be bitter about or angry with somebody else about when it comes to Notre Dame football. What are we talking about, dude? What are we talking about? It's enough for everybody. This ain't corners and you trying to have the best product.
Yeah.
It's not the drug game. It's college football.
It's not the drug game. Exactly.
It's the most, man, look, it literally early on, because I've only been doing this in January. You know me. I got to a point in certain situations where I was like, man, I don't even need this. I don't need this crap. I'm too happy. I'm happy as hell today. I went and picked up baby girl at the airport last night. My baby is home.
Yeah.
I don't give a darn about no beefs in the Notre Dame streets this morning. This stuff is ridiculous. I'm ready to talk recruits, man. You know, but this is, and it do. It's not just the situation that you spoke about. This is literally, unfortunately, it's the culture, man. It's the culture. But go ahead. I don't know what you were, whatever you're quoting from. Did you finish the quotes?
Yeah, it's crazy. I just think that sometimes in this recruit, you got to let things happen naturally. But when you try to backdoor information without context and then dry snitch like you had the information and other people just causing havoc, that's an issue. Because now we got a Michael Jordan. He took it personal. Now we got to come back.
Yeah, I said this, dude. Like, once again, everything you were talking about a specific situation. I took it a step further. I'm talking about in general. Just being around. It's like, dude, look, you know, when you find out this person doesn't care for that person, and And it's man, look, I don't look, man. It's this is the happiest, most beautiful thing to talk about ever, man. Notre Dame football and college football. There should be no beefs at
No
all, man.
beefs.
There should like everything should be able to be a conversation if there is indeed a situation. I can't like once again, I can't speak to what was going on yesterday. That's a conversation that you, IPC, and that individual should hash out, discuss, get to the bottom of. But that kind of just sparked me to talk about the overall culture, right? It was like, yo, literally, I'll give this example. You go, when I was at ESPN, you go cover the Bears on the road, or you go to training camp, and literally there are like 20 Bears beat reporters at the bar getting drunk together. Same team.
Same team.
And they're just like, yo, what's up? Yo, what's
Yeah.
up? You
It's
know
the
what I'm saying?
club.
It's like, yo, that's how it should be. That's how it should be. Like, yo, we're covering the same team. Yeah, you get a scoop, I get a scoop. You get this information, I get that information. Majority of the time, we're reporting the same information.
Most of the time.
And
It's the
and
same.
and keep man, literally, it was literally like an eye opener to me. There was somebody that read what most of these guys had divulged to the fan base over the years. And to see them as competitors on the outside, but then to get on the inside and be like, yo, these cats are kicking it together. You know what I'm saying? That's my hope. That's my hope. That everything can be similar to that on this beat. That's my hope. So you can call me the good Christian or whatever. Like, yes, I am the dude. I'm super optimistic, man. Anybody will tell you that's ever had a conversation with me or difference with me, at the end of the day, when I talk, I'm gonna be super optimistic about the situation and try to make the best of the situation and move forward, man. I don't do that negative bad energy. I don't do that. And I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think it was negative energy per se from either side, just from me knowing and being able to hear kind of thoughts from both sides. I don't think there was negative energy or negative intent. That's my opinion. Now, the way you, Mick, and the rest of IPC, the way you all feel, I can't control that. I can't control that at all.
And it speaks more just to the general thing of what we talked about. Yeah, that specific situation happened, but it's more just to the concept of we're all on the same team, like you said.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's the point? I don't understand how it improves the engagement of Notre Dame fandom by speaking out of context of a situation that wasn't even a situation. It was something that was taken out of perspective because you felt like somebody got something that you didn't know about.
Mm.
It could have been something from anybody. It's only because you knew who the name was that it steered in towards, oh, well, this, and this, and this. It could have been anybody, but I do think that overall, I don't think there's negative intent, but I do think there's a competitive intent within it because everybody is still trying to have a popping podcast or popping whatever, So I do think information to certain people is more crucial than actually having something good to talk about.
All right. This really should have been like, oh, and another thing is what we do. When, we, when one of us have to go and explain something that's taking place. But look, my brother said this morning, like, yo, I got something to say. And I said, all right, it's your platform, bro. Like, go for it, right?
Because I'm
And
like, I'm reading it like, come on, come on, come on. There's so much other stuff to talk about.
like I said, man, look, I can't speak for everyone else, but I'm the type of individual, man, when things arise like that, I am a willing communicator, very willing communicator. And in order to do that successfully, you have to be a listener as well. So I'm a very willing communicator. And, I encourage everyone to find a way to communicate in the situation. And look, yeah,
So,
we got good stuff to talk about, man. Once again, we're talking Notre Dame football. Like,
that's right.
at the end of the day, what are we really talking about, man? I'm ready to talk about Caleb Beasley. I'm ready to talk about CJ Carr, Jack Larson, dude, Christian Hamilton. I'm
I
ready
actually
to
went to
talk
Elite
about
11 this weekend.
Say it again.
I went to Elite 11 this weekend in Los Angeles. Got to see some good prospects out there. Dylan Raiola, the
Yeah,
2024 QB
yeah.
from Arizona. He was out there. It's a big dude now. It's a big dude. So I guess he's John Kitna's backup quarterback son. Ray
That's a lot
Raiola or
of
something like
connections. John Kitna's back
yeah,
up.
like so I guess he played for John Kitna's team
Yeah,
in Texas. And his dad is the backup for the Lions for like 14 years behind Kitna and stuff.
yeah.
So I mean he was pretty big, he's a pretty good player.
So we had CJ Carr was on campus. 2024 quarterback from Michigan. He is the grandson of Lloyd Carr, former Michigan head coach, longtime assistant to Bo Schembechler, five-star quarterback, Saline, Michigan, and hope I said that right. Saline. Impressive, right? Just impressive. A lot of people are impressed with the way the ball comes out of his hand. And to snatch two consecutive five-star quarterbacks from the state of Michigan, that, man, let me tell you how disrespectful that would be. I just want to start there. How disrespectful it would be for Notre Dame to snag two straight five-star quarterbacks from the state of Michigan. That would be pretty disrespectful. It really would.
Also,
And
also on the fact that it's Lloyd Carr's grandson. That just hit deeper in the pocket.
well, look, it is what it is. Yo, the connection between, and we talked about this. I wrote a story on Brandon Davis Swain when he committed and interviewed him, and very impressive young man. He's the kid that committed at the blue and gold game for the class of 24. He's going to be a dynamic speed rusher. Dynamic. This kid already going into his junior year has counters and counters to counters. And that's like in his mindset when you talk to him. Like, yeah, this is what I like to do when I come upfield and I want to do this. This is how I set up my inside spin. This is how I set up my outside spin. And I'm like, yo, you're just a junior. But he is a student of the game and physically talented. So fundamentally sound and blessed by God, which is amazing. But the key thing that I mentioned also is that he's best friends with CJ Carr. And I felt like him starting the dominoes would impact CJ Carr and his recruitment. And he was open and honest, like, yeah, that's my best friend. And I've been talking to him about Notre Dame. Been talking to him, been working on him. So to hear now that CJ Carr, and he's been crystal balled by a couple other publications to Notre Dame, but that's everybody pretty much had that vibe around CJ Carr and his recruitment. If you listen to Brandon Davis Swain, you would have picked up the same vibe. But this is where relationships come in at. You start talking about tight end class for 2024 is absolutely amazing. Like, there are some kids that are really, really good tight ends that just can't. They have to play the waiting game, right? Because the top guys at that position in 24 are like, you're talking about maybe 5-6 deep, just true elite tight ends. Yeah, that for me is like a position that I think Notre Dame can go ahead and immediately replace Michael Mayer. Right? Holden stays. There are some guys coming in the 23 class, but that 24 class, you could get two difference makers in that class. If Notre Dame really hits the way they think they can hit that position, they can end up with two difference makers at tight end. And that would be amazing. Jack Larson out of Charlotte, man. Charlotte Catholic. Yo, you just go watch the film. Yo, you get it. You get it. And this kid and CJ, they're locked in. And most people feel like they're locked in together. He's also been forecasted to Notre Dame, by several publications. So you're starting to see the same connections that we saw with Drake Bourne and Don Schuler and those guys and the relationships they have and how they led the way in the 23 class. You're already starting to see those connect the dots for the 24 class, right? And they haven't even played their first game as a junior. And it could pop off.
Yeah, I didn't play their first game,
They're not even officially juniors yet. They haven't played. They haven't gone. Most of them start. I think Charlotte Catholic opens up their training camp like the 11th. They have tryouts the 11th of July for the varsity squad. I know kids go back here in Chicago around the same time to start preparing for the football season. So you just might end up getting decisions made for the 24 class from elite players like that before August. And that right there, to stack that on the number one class that they already have in 23, and we talked about it, they could have 18 or 19 commits by the time we get to the end of July.
Yeah.
What the staff is doing is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it just shows the commitment that they have to the program in terms of building it from the ground up. I think now once they get those first 2 or 3 classes established, now that they get their guys in, you'll start to see not only player retention but also player development.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes. I think for Coach Kelly, it took a couple years to get the right guys in before the consistency started to happen. Fortunately for Marcus Freeman, the recruiting has been on fire, and hopefully we can seal the deal starting with this 2023 class because of what it can lead. Once you get all the right people in, it'll be a lot easier for Marcus Freeman to implement that culture that he's trying to build. Yeah. And that at least you plan those 3 classes out, at least 9 years of success that he can have, just like how we had in 13, 14, and 15's class.
Yeah, And then you had Caleb Beasley, defensive back from Tennessee, who, if you were on social media immediately after the Irish invasion, it was easily the best player, the best athlete on the field. Easily. Kid has been in Notre Dame multiple times. You love when you hear that because of Notre Dame, what it is, where it is, we have to be real about that. It's not a destination from a weather standpoint, from a community standpoint. It's in rural Indiana, small town feel. That's what it is. Beautiful campus, very special place, but it's not Athens. It's not Gainesville. You know what I'm saying? It's not LA. The USC is not Baton Rouge. And LSU, it is what it is. However, when you hear a young man or hear of a young man already making a trek to Notre Dame 3 times, it's like, okay, he likes what he sees. He likes what he sees, right? And that's the type of kid we're talking about. Notre Dame fit, absolutely, on and off the field. Comes from a great program. His teammate Edward Spillman is another kid, linebacker. Most people think he's going to stay in state and go to Tennessee, but Notre Dame's in on him. But Caleb Beasley has a great relationship with Marcus Freeman. Talked about that. I put up a story on Irish Breakdown about the kid 2 weeks ago, just kind of forecasting like coming to the Irish invasion in his visit. It's another kid, man. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if he committed. You know, he's a Tennessee kid. Tennessee's going to make a pull on him and make a push for him. But just from a relationship standpoint, the way he talks about Notre Dame and how he interacts with the coaching staff, it wouldn't shock me if they got an early commitment from him. But a kid like that, top 100 kid, number one player in the state of Tennessee, Notre Dame's in a great position. And he's, man, if there's one kid that you watched yesterday and was like, we got to have him, it's Caleb Beasley. It's Caleb Beasley. Man, I've never seen a big cornerback move as well as he moves.
Really? Like a Derek Stingley type.
Yeah, he's a big dude. He's a big dude. He moves. And I'm not talking about like straight line speed. I'm talking about just really good feet, good hips. No, straight line speed, we'll see. Right. But physical, can play bump and run. Loves to play off man coverage. Like that's his favorite coverage. He loves off man. He loves to be able to look at the quarterback, diagnose things. Comes up, puts a hat on the ball, loves to disrupt the run game. He is just a football player, man. He's just a football player. And he put it on full display at the Irish invasion yesterday.
Wow. Well, yeah, I mean, those are the type of game-changing players we need, especially at that DB position. A bigger lockdown corner fits more of the Ohio State model, like your Denzel Wards, your the Jeremiah guy that went first round as a corner, that went to Detroit. So they got some big guys, and that model works because now dealing with a variety of superstar receivers like your Jackson and Jacobs and your Rodney Harrisons Juniors and all of that is definitely somebody that can jump to different receiver spots in crucial parts of the game where you can play a little bit of inside, you can play outside depending on the matchup. And when you have a bunch of athletic guys like that, I mean, it's really special, especially if they can appear to be the best athlete as a DB amongst all the other positions.
Lucky Lefty podcast, man. Listening is a skill, bro. Once again, remember I talked about that? Listening is a skill. Listening is a skill, dude. Like, that's all I have to say. Listening is a skill. So this weekend was kind of like the first domino. Next weekend is a monster weekend. Monster weekend. Like, you talking about closing the deal. This was kind of like setting the tone with the 24 kids. And then the weekend of the 12th is kind of like, yo, this is big. Like, we got to get these kids to come in. We got to close the deal and get to the expectations that we have for this class. Once again, the visitor list you tell me what's the most important. And then LL Nation can tell us what they think. Like, what's the most important weekend between the 12th and the 17th through the 19th? All right. The 10th through the 12th, we got Jaden Lamar, Rico Flores, Ronan Hannafin, Cooper Flanagan, who's already a commit, Sullivan Ashford, a commit, Sam Pendleton, a commit, Monroe Freeling, Devin Houston, commit, Jason Moore, Jaden Alsbury, Christian Gray, Jeff White, 25 kid, Adon Schuler, commit, Caleb Downs will be back, Micah Tees, who I think ultimately stays and goes to Oklahoma. Grant Reddick, who's a kicker. 17th through the 19th, you have Jeremiah Love, Jaden Greathouse, Christian Hamilton, Brennan Vernon, Jordan Hall, Micah Bell, Josiah Wagner, Joe Otten.
That one weekend's pretty special.
Yeah,
Christian Great.
next
Yeah, that
weekend
Christian
is
Great
pretty
one.
much next weekend is pretty much that's closing time. That's closing
Yeah.
time. Always be closing ABC.
I think this is definitely the weekend. That's the weekend where, you bring out the big guns. You bring out the little trophies we got, put them right in the locker room. You gotta bring all the staff out and dress up make it look like something you're not gonna see only on
Yeah,
recruiting.
yeah, yeah,
But it's good though because at least you're starting to get people in the house.
yeah,
You're getting people in the house. We already got the amenities set up. The grass will be cut, even if it's snowing outside. We're gonna have all the paintings and everything structured right. We already got the meetings lined up. You're gonna hit the academic, then hit the cafeteria, then hit the dome, then hit the Goog. Then so we got the path is set up. Right
right,
now, I just think it's important for the guys coming to just embrace everything that you're taking part in because it's different than other visits. You're gonna get taken to the grotto. Ain't too many grottos in other schools, and it's just a different feeling when you're going around it because it's trying to show you why it's special. And I think if these kids just see how special, just the place is outside of just the business reasons, obviously, I think Marcus Freeman can really capture that moment because he got his
mm,
speeches down packed now. He's gonna stand up there in his crispy suit, and if in the Harry Potter little cafeteria like event space with the lights dim low, and he gonna get the preaching, and they're gonna get the buying in, and then not to mention the food is always pretty solid in the recruiting visits where you get to smacking them lips and can't be hearing him talk because the food be so good. So I think it's a weekend that got me committed. I remember my big weekend. I came up and it was all in the basketball arena, the Joyce Center,
yeah,
and Coach Martin was giving me the 1-2s, and I'm like, yeah, and I was seeing guys all around getting talked to, and so I definitely committed after I went home. It was crazy. So I know those weekends what they're like, and you'll get sucked in real fast. So it's a good experience.
yeah. And you know what? We talked about this a little bit. Man, how do you say stuff without so the first quarterback from Michigan, the first 5-star. We talked about CJ Carr. The other guy, right? Is there a possibility that that CJ Carr could actually publicly commit to Notre Dame for Dante Moore?
Oh man,
It's possible, which is crazy. Which is
I
crazy.
mean,
Which is
I think
crazy.
CJ really, really loves Notre Dame on a like I'm not gonna say deeper level than Dante. I think he sees more in Notre Dame than Dante sees specifically in Notre Dame. I think Dante sees the same thing, but he's like, there's other nice schools too. I think
Mhm.
CJ's like, man, I really like Notre Dame. I
Yeah,
think that's just
at
the
this point.
feel. Yeah, at this point, especially, you get to getting on Twitter and everybody's, oh, CJ's the guy, CJ's the guy, So I think that the hype of the moment and him doing well at the camp in front of Tommy and Coach Freeman, He might. I think it'll make it very interesting from just like what are you telling him? Because Dante isn't committed, hopefully yet. But you telling CJ what? Because if Dante commits, are you telling CJ, yeah, your second year you in there, or your first year you? So I think that's an interesting thing to deal with. I think Tommy and CJ fit more on a what Tommy likes and what CJ is good at. I
Yeah.
think if you had to roll out of the bed and throw 60 times, I think he would go with CJ more just because that's what CJ's film is.
Right.
Not that Dante couldn't do it, but we've seen Tommy call 60 pass ball games. We've seen it.
Yeah.
So I think interestingly enough, I do believe Dante's the better overall prospect.
Yeah.
Obviously, CJ is still young and gotta fill out and stuff, but I think when you look at CJ's tape, it's like you get everything you get his potential right there. I don't know how much better he can really be because I think he's got great technique. I think he's making all the reads you need.
Hmm.
He's pretty solidly accurate.
Yeah.
He's not wowing you in any category, but he's a really solid all around guy. Like he can win you some games. I feel confident in that. Is he beating Alabama? I don't know. I feel like Dante has some special it factors about him that I feel like CJ is just, as from just looking as a shell, he got everything you want. He can pass on time, anticipate, all the stuff on paper you can write down.
Yeah.
But if you put him amongst like a bunch of like superstar quarterbacks, you're like, I would take him over that because it is. So I would take him over that because it is. But he's in the mix, so I think he's a solid guy, but I think Dante still is the guy that can take us over the top.
Yeah. And congratulations to Todd Light and Michael Stonebreaker.
I think you're on mute.
For being added to the 2023 College Football Hall of Fame ballot. Todd Light should have been in a long time ago. But Michael Stonebreaker was very much an underrated player at Notre Dame.
Really?
Very, very much underrated as a middle linebacker. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know. Well, you know what? I would really have to dig into the numbers. Because the DB is pretty important. The DB position is probably more important now than it was back then. The linebacker position had more prominence back then and really had more stars because of the way the game was played.
Mm,
Like you
yeah.
always had linebackers up for the Heisman back in the day. Always. Why? Because they are crazy tackles. Everybody was running option, I formation, and
Yeah, it was heavy run, heavy run.
heavy run. Yeah. So Michael Stonebreaker, man, hopefully both of them get in. Hopefully both of them get in. Was it weird? Like, how many times did you actually go over to the College Football Hall of Fame while you were in the South here?
It's not much. It's surprising how much you don't see because you're so locked in doing the daily schedule at
Yeah,
school
yeah,
that I would see it sometimes like when we go to the hotel before the game, but it was never like they never made it an attraction to where you're like, oh, you gotta see this. It's more been so like the building,
yeah,
but the hotel just looked more impressive, because it was connected.
yeah.
See, like the hotel looks kind of more interesting to go into.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of like, being in Chicago, we have this fabulous museum campus. And I maybe have been
Oh,
to,
you mean the one that's where Soldier Field is, where they
yeah,
got the museum same
yeah.
block? I thought that museum was cool.
No,
It
no,
was
I'm
it
saying
was
the campus is fantastic. But I probably went more when I was a kid in elementary school on field trips than I have as an adult.
oh yeah, yeah.
It's like it's a beautiful, and then you think about it's there, but you just don't go. And they have really good exhibits all year. Things I would be interested in going, but for some reason,
Yeah, and stuff you interest you like, okay,
yeah,
I might
yeah,
stop by.
yeah,
You just I think it's because museum tickets just throw you off so much that it's like they shouldn't be priced like that to be a museum. That's why I think people don't want to go because I remember I went to the one. Y'all got the aquarium,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's an
Yeah,
aquarium there too, and that thing was like $75 to just
yeah.
get one ticket. I'm like, that doesn't just it doesn't register as like a museum price for me. So I'm like, nah, I ain't going. I ain't.
It can get
Oh,
pricey at times. It can get pricey, especially if you try to eat in these museums.
oh yeah,
Something
$12
like
drinks
$12 cheeseburger, $8 hot dog.
and it's cafeteria hot dog cheeseburger. Like,
It's definitely cafeteria level food,
I'm
without a
expecting
doubt.
that nice that quarter pound Angus steak burger at $12.
Yeah.
Good grief.
So
And it kills me because you'll pay and
yeah.
then you see them pop it in the microwave in the back. You like, oh man, I paid $12 for a microwavable hot dog.
So we'll see, man. Some other offers went out yesterday. Some kids that, Cam Williams is, we talked about him, Illinois kid. Chancey Stuckey really loves him. I think his high school actually was there recording him working out, posting, like his high school posted his 40 time, which was 4.47. And he's a big, smooth kid, man. He's a big, smooth receiver. And there's a lot to like about that kid. It really is. It's a lot to like about that kid. And Illinois is not necessarily synonymous with like explosive receivers, but Notre Dame with DeVaris, Miles, like Notre Dame has gotten tall receivers from the state of Illinois in the past. So Cam Williams is another kid, like I said, and he's just going into his junior year. Like I said, he's going to get faster. He's going to get stronger. Kid runs a 4.47, smooth, big, it's everything. And, according to reports, he spent the majority of his time chatting it up with CJ Carr and Jake Larson yesterday. So
Yeah, it's cool to see how at those camps guys start forming relationships together
yeah,
that they carry through recruitment and be like, yeah, I remember him at the Irish Invasion. It was dope. I could see us playing together. We talk sometime, whoop de whoop. So,
yeah,
and I think it's cool too that things like Irish Invasion are invite camps. So it's really guys that they want to see, are they gelling together, this, that, and the third. So uh I like the way those are ran as opposed to like, the rivals camps and stuff where there's not really a specific goal.
hmm
It's just more of like competition.
yeah,
So I think for any recruit, you really want to go to the college camps because that's like they're actually looking at you. You can't
yeah,
write ups only take you so far.
yeah, yeah. Terry Tyler has a question. If CJ commits, I'm assuming before Dante Moore, does Dante look elsewhere? Man, look. Go ahead, because I know you have a story that's similar to this, but go ahead.
No, I mean he should definitely. I mean it doesn't matter because it takes a while. He would be after Dante anyway, so I don't think Dante's worried about it because of that. But also he's thinking about what he want to do. I think
Hmm.
we're thinking about what Notre Dame wants to do. He's thinking about what he wants to do. So I just think it's just different perspectives on it. I don't think it changes his thought too much about Notre Dame or change his thought on the coaches because he knows that's just recruiting. That's what happens.
Yeah,
I don't think anything changes. I just think he just wants to find the best place. I think CJ knows where he wants to go though.
yeah. I'll start this first. Nothing personal says, thank you for tapping in too. If we get 2 5 stars and one wins the job and the other transfers, we would still have a 5 star and can keep recruiting 5 stars. It's a good problem to have, in my opinion. Yo,
As long as Marcus Freeman isn't Kevin Sumlin and get both of them to leave, like
that's a good
Kyler.
point. Right, right. Kyler
Kyler
Murray and Kyle Allen.
if he don't get both to leave, he's straight. If he get one to leave, okay, it happens.
That
But we
has
should be like shit. Even Clemson had to let one go because the K Boogie was a 5-star or something like
yeah,
that.
he was. He was. That's interesting, man. But I mean, that's just
Shit, it happened
about
to Bama. Shit, it happened to Bama.
yeah, absolutely.
Jalen left.
And it happens at different positions at other schools, right? I mean, look, Eli Ricks literally just left LSU, who just put another DB in the top 5 of the NFL draft. Like that's all they do. They put DBs in the NFL draft in the first round. Eli knows if I stay at LSU, I might not win, but I'm definitely going in the first round of the NFL
They
draft.
went top 3 last year, and the dude only played one healthy season. That
One
was his
healthy
true
season.
freshman.
Yes.
True freshman year. Like 18 years old year. He hadn't played a season since he got drafted third.
Yeah.
Third pick, not third
Yeah.
round.
Yeah. So man, it's obvious that Eli, number one, wants to play and wants to win.
To win. Yes. He won a
Right?
championship. He didn't
He
think
could
he just
have
drafted.
taken an easy route,
And got some more money somewhere smaller.
got some NIL money at LSU, chilled, played it safe.
And damn near not even play the way they
Yeah.
get drafted. They damn near not even playing.
Right.
And still getting drafted.
Right.
Kayvon Thibodeau didn't even play most of last year and got drafted second, third, whatever.
But the kid wants to compete. He wants to compete. And I have to tip my cap to him. Right? Because most kids, like I said, it's a man, look, you can say what you want to say about Stingley. That dude, he shut it down.
Oh, for sure.
He shut it down.
Oh, he's nice. I like Stingley. I think he's nice.
He shut it down. And he put enough film with that championship team. He put enough film out there where he felt like, other than Devontae Smith burning him in that Alabama game, on a deep pass, he pretty much shut everybody else down. He definitely shut the Clemson receivers down.
Oh, yeah, that was
in
locked.
the championship game. Oh, yeah. So,
but when you play that well, it's like Jamar Chase didn't even play the next season because he's like, man, I can't do no more. I maxed out.
Yeah.
I just have to stay another year because the rule.
Yeah.
But I ain't playing, man. You crazy?
Yeah.
Anything like even Saquon sitting out of the, some guys they max out of their college career.
What do you mean by that?
Where you not
they max out.
Where you max out where it's like Jadeveon maxed out to where. What else can you do?
I see what you're saying.
Leonard Fournette maxed out early.
Situation. Yeah.
Leonard Fournette maxed out early. And he was like, damn, like he was supposed to win Heisman that year. He was supposed to leave. Yeah. He had to wait a whole nother year, and he didn't have that great of a season. He got hurt, all type of stuff. So sometimes you max out your college career early. I thought Julian Love maxed out his career.
Right.
Julian shouldn't have stayed.
Right.
So, there's guys that max out their career, and I think the rule, if the NFL wants to keep up, they gotta change the rule to 20 or make it 2 years.
Right.
Because guys, especially if the NIL grows, guys will start getting comfortable. Like, man, shoot, I got a 4-year deal in college. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't need to rush going to the league. I got this bag, 4 years, go to school, graduate.
Yeah.
Whatever. So.
Well, you look at it, man. That trio for 2024, along with Brandon Davis Swain, could really start being the Don Shula's, Drake Bowens. That same group that's going to recruit for the 2024 class. You can start seeing that crystallize, no pun intended, since crystal ball predictions have been put in for 2 of those 3 guys. And we talked about Caleb Beasley, just the fantastic guy he is, fantastic kid he is, and how he dominated the Irish invasion. There were other offers that went out, during the Irish invasion. And it's a cool, you know what, bro? It is a really cool atmosphere. I talked to several kids afterwards, And the one word they kept saying was, "Man, I had fun." All of them like, "Yo, I had fun." Like it was fun, and it's just kind of interesting that the vibe around Notre Dame is like kids. Oh, I'll say this. I'll put a positive bow on what you talked about starting out the podcast. Kids want to come here now.
Yeah.
Kids, that if there's one thing to pull from everything you put out there this morning, the one thing that we don't want everybody to miss is that kids really
want to come.
want to come to Notre Dame.
Even if they get the whisper.
Yes. Yes.
That somebody is like, oh yeah,
yes.
we want you.
Yes.
Kids jumping on it. They not we used to do these little throw off commits like, hey, like, if you think about it, come on, but just keep it low. Kids don't want to keep it low no more.
No.
Because Marcus Freeman done passed out the golden ticket.
Yeah.
They said, oh, I got the ticket. No, that's a fake one. You got to scout. They scalped your ticket. It ain't a real one.
Yeah.
Even if they try to catch it, wasn't no real one. Yeah. But that's the excitement that you don't have stories like this with Brian Kelly where guys were like, oh man, I wanted to commit, but I wanted to go so bad, but it wasn't the time. They said, hold on, like slow your roll. You too excited. That didn't happen 10 years ago. We was comfortable just having guys be like, okay, he likes us. He's not gonna make us compete with anybody. He's just gonna come quietly. That's not the time of the recruiting world anymore.
Yeah. It's very interesting, man. That was the one thing that stood out with me. People want to come here. Like the brand is at, I wouldn't say an all-time high, but the brand is definitely shining brighter. The dome is shining much brighter than it has in these recruiting streets.
It's become the back signal.
It really has. And they
in the
use
sky
that
to the recruitment world.
Yeah, it really has. It really has. And that's just a good feeling.
Calling all 5 stars.
Yeah, I feel blessed. Let me tell you why I feel blessed, man, because things happen for a reason. And the way things happen for me personally, when I made the decision that I was going to transition away from where I was and really start doing this Notre Dame thing, the previous regime was still intact. So I feel blessed that to start off, I get to cover Marcus Freeman. I get to cover the number 1 recruiting class and possibly the number 1 recruiting class in 24 and this super cool coaching staff. Oh, man. Beyond blessed, bro. This is crazy. I smile every day. Like, there's nothing to be upset about. I smile every day, man. All right? So, my bro, I'm going to get my bro and his peeps, and we're gonna handle this stuff today. Because I don't do this. And let me be clear. I do not feel that anybody put me in the middle of anything. All right? Because I operated in a process that I've operated in before. Whether it's, yo, can you ask this? Can you ask that? Like, I've done it before. So I didn't do anything different than I've done before. How things spun out of control, I had nothing to do with that. Right? Nothing to do with that. But
things should have never stood out of control.
We're going to get it right, though. We're going to get it right. Because we're men and we talk about these things. That's what men do. And if we disagree at the end of the day, we walk away. Shout out to Notre Dame baseball. 2-1 win over Texas Tech. They go on to the super regionals. They go back to, that proverbial hump to get over. Or that obstacle that is the super regional. They go up. They win the first game against Mississippi State last year in the super regional. Second game, they come out, get a nice lead, and literally just gave the game away. And from that standpoint, Mississippi State went on to do what they did in the College World Series. So hopefully Link and the guys, man, can get the job done. Hopefully they can get the job done. I did want to say something about Dante Moore because I see a lot of buzz still. He'll be out in LA at the Elite 11 finals, June 28th through the 30th.
And so will I.
And
it's insane.
Absolutely, man. All these, look, it's so funny to me, man, because now people want to add Michigan. Okay, Michigan's in it now. Texas A&M is in it now. Look.
It's really not that many schools left, for real.
Dude.
You almost got a couple choices.
I'm like my man on the ship. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Yo, man, relax. And LL Nation, Notre Dame fans, relax.
The thing is, the later it gets, the less schools can be added. It ain't schools adding on the later it gets. Less schools are adding the longer it gets.
Yo, Tom Ballard, thank you as always for tapping in. Shaun, you see that zip-up jacket MF was sporting in that picture with the mark? Yes, I did.
Oh, that was smooth.
Yes, I did. Look, man.
Smooth. 3/4.
I don't know about the shoes. I don't know about the uniforms. But the Marcus Freeman gear,
lounge coat gear, they need to make him a line.
Man,
they need to make him a line now because he's sporting that thing now because he's keeping the fresh cut by Julio all the time. He done took a page out of Jalen Rose playbook.
Now, see, this is unfair, Brian Crawdaddy. Thank you for tapping in. My boy's ego is so big.
Look, on this particular topic, come on. I'm throwing that thing still. If we had to rank all-time biggest arms at Notre Dame history, I'm definitely top 3. I think Ev is top 3. Honestly. I'm putting myself in top 3, but I think Ev is top 3 too.
So
in literally just strong arm alone, we're not talking.
I'm gonna think about this and give you my final thoughts tomorrow, but I would go.
Y'all don't know how hard. Y'all don't know how hard.
I would go. Right now, I would go Ev, Malik, Brandon.
I never thought Brandon had that strong of an arm. Like, I don't know. I thought Brady Quinn had a stronger arm than Brandon.
You think so?
Brady Quinn
did Brady have a stronger arm than Clausen, though?
No, not than Clausen. That was Clausen's thing, though.
Clausen might be top 3 too. Clausen might be top 3 too. Yes, you're right. Jay Henry, Ev had a cannon. Mark Wimbush had a pretty good arm too. So, man, it's Lucky Lefty podcast.
But was Brandon top 3 though? We talking all time. There's a lot of quarterbacks that have been through Notre Dame. I don't think a lot of the quarterbacks had strong arms through Notre Dame, but I do think it was enough to where you could put some guys up there. I think Brandon has a strong arm for sure, but I think Deshaun had a stronger arm than Brandon.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shaun could throw that mug a little bit. He wasn't bad.
Yeah. So you talking stronger arm, prettiest ball. Those are all different.
Prettiest deep ball, like strong arm type of thing. I think it was
No,
me and
look,
Ed for sure.
I say it all the time. Like the pass you threw the wheel against Texas was probably one of the sweetest balls I've ever seen in that stadium. I was like, okay. Because
I had the left-handed ball that time. I was
yeah.
really spinning that thing for real.
Jarius Jackson did have a pretty good arm. He did. He did. Lucky Lefty podcast. It's the new day, man. It's a new day. Notre Dame is, man, looking real good. I think we both said we love Christian Hamilton. And just because they went after Christian Hamilton, who was number one player in the state of North Carolina, wide receiver.
I mean, look, number one running back we went after, number one wide receiver we going after, number one quarterback we going after. We not playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the way recruiting is going when you're an elite program. You're not just shooting for the really good 4-star.
Yeah.
And it's shocking because we're like, dang, like that was a good player, but we like the 5-star guy too. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with the running back we have, but that guy over there, you can't say no.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Well, I can agree with that. It'd be interesting to see because the arm talent that CJ Carr seems to have from those that have been up close and personal, I would like to see where he sits. I would like to see where he sits in that pantheon. I really would. We had a great week. If you missed the interview with our guys Pete Bursich and Wes Pritchett, go check them out from last week. Great conversations. As always, hit the like button, share, let everybody know about the Lucky Lefty podcast. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Lucky Lefty Pod. Did we give a question of the day? I don't know. Did we give
we just started off hot.
You went in real hot.
The question of the day is, how much of a good Christian is Shaun?
You're stupid, man. Question of the day: what's the one recruit in the month of June that you want to see a commitment from?
I'm hearing a lot about Micah Bell, though. I know we talked about Beasley, but Micah Bell is somebody we talked about a lot. On
crazy athlete. Yeah, crazy athlete. Absolute crazy athlete, man. I just like the way, man. I like the way this staff is going out looking for difference makers. You know what I mean?
And what's interesting about Micah for sure is that his top choices is like Harvard, Vanderbilt, Notre Dame, and another Ivy League school.
So that paper is right. That paper is right. You don't have to worry about that paper. That paper is right. That transcript is right. You already know. Like, bro, you submitted.
They talking about they ain't got the grades. He got the grades. He got the grades to get in.
That's not something that you ever have to worry about. He definitely has the grades. And before we get to that time of the day, man, Tay Johnson is an Indiana kid from Fort Wayne, I believe, that ended up with an offer coming out of the Irish invasion. Milan Graham, another Indiana kid, got an offer. Pat Clax, who is a 24 kid from Andrean, the same school, he's on the same state championship team as Drake Bowen. Showed very well. I think it's his third time up to campus. And so, yeah. And there are a lot of kids that called Notre Dame's eyes yesterday. There was a defensive back from Illinois, plays at Thornton Fractional South out in Thornton Fractional South. If I'm not, that's South Holland, Illinois. Pat Clacks, as we
And the
talked
Chicago
about.
boys trying to come through and recruiting now.
Yeah, they got tired of seeing Alabama, Florida, Ohio State, coming in snatching cats. So, we hoop, but we can play a little football too. And Jacob Oden made his. I think this is Jacob Oden's like 6th visit to Notre Dame for the Irish invasion. He said he had a ball. So once again, coaching staff, what they're doing, just building upon that and going into one of the most important weekends, the 10th through the 12th coming up for them from a recruiting standpoint. You have to feel really good as a Notre Dame fan where everything sits right now. All right? You know what time it is.
Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty history? Petty Junction.
I got a great one. All right. I'm sticking on it. So, petty train for today is Ohio State fan base. The one thing that you're going to have to get used to, Ohio State, and all fan bases out there, is that we have to believe, and we have the right to believe, we're in the right position now. We're not just finna say, oh, we're about to get rolled by Ohio State like everybody does, everybody elsewhere.
Right.
We're not just finna say we about to go out there and just lay down to Ohio State. Are you kidding me? Yes, you better spend that NIL money because you better get ready for what's coming to you on the 3rd of September.
They can't come at you like they beans of state property too.
Yeah, they come in. They want to talk about, oh, you guys lost. You guys not done. I said, listen, that was when we didn't have a big game coach.
Right.
You can't say same Notre Dame, same team. No, it's not the same Notre Dame. This is not the same Notre Dame. You talking to the old guy, the mannequin version of Notre Dame. It's a new Notre Dame. Yeah. So yes, we talking Ohio State. I know you.
Yo, what happened, bro? I don't know what happened to my brother's connection. All right. My bro's stuck. Lefty podcast. Hope he comes back. For those of you that don't know, you can go check out Malik's tweets over the weekend. He got into it with Ohio State fans because he retweeted Ryan Day's comments when Ryan Day was describing what was happening or how much it would cost to field a team based upon positions. And he gave a breakdown and in NIL money to field a really good team. So Malik retweeted the tweet that talked about the conversation he had where he made these comments and was like, y'all need to focus on beating Notre Dame come September 3rd or putting that money towards beating Notre Dame September 3rd. Of course, Buckeye Nation went crazy. They came at my boy. And then the Buckeye coaching staff started texting him over the retweet. So Malik got under their skin. They felt a certain type of way. So I already know where he was going. He was going to put the fan base and the coaching staff on the petty train. Like, yo, what else do you expect us to say? We're supposed to just bow down to you guys? Truman Dumel, as always, thank you for the support, my brother. Add Draymond Green to the petty train. He's the president. Look, man, you know what? Draymond is Draymond. I'm disappointed in the way the Celtics allowed him to impact the game, because he has no way, from a skill set, he has no way to impact that game. And the only way he can do it is with physicality and with the foolishness you're talking about. Like, Jaylen Brown's a good one. He's a good one. Because that dude, if he had put his feet on my head after fouling me on that 3-point shot, and then had the nerve to tell Jaylen, don't do that. Like, what are you talking about? Your feet, your legs are literally on my head, and you're not moving them. So I'm going to move them for you. I'm going to move them for you. And if you don't like it, so what? Don't do that. Man, get your soft tail out of here, man. Yeah, so they really tried to come at your boy, Mark. They nervous at Columbus. Yeah, because they don't know. They don't know. That's the thing, right? Because they know what Notre Dame was under Brian Kelly. And even though Marcus Freeman was the head coach in the Fiesta Bowl, they know that wasn't his squad. That team wasn't his DNA. They don't know what's walking in to Columbus. And that's scary. That's scary. That's why I expect Notre Dame to get off to a really good start in this game, because they have no clue what's coming. Yeah, and I think Ryan Day even knows that when he was on the set of College Football Live at the NFL draft, and everybody was joking, and they were laughing about the point spread and all of that. Marcus Freeman was like, yeah, smiling, like, yeah, increase the point spread. Ryan Day was sitting there very quiet, like, You got clowns like Desmond Howard doing his thing as if his school has done anything recently other than get smacked up and down the field by Georgia. So, look, thank you guys for joining us today. As always, we're brought to you and featuring Onora Whiskey. OnoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you're going to drink, make sure that you drink responsibly. Hey, guys, you guys pray for me. Because, this house for several months, for about 6 months, has been all Notre Dame vibe. I got the enemy in the building now for the rest of the summer. Pray for me. I have to deal with it. So you guys have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the day. Make sure you spend it different. We'll see you tomorrow for another episode of the Lucky Lefty Podcast.